Okay, so like I was saying, I deleted what we did initially because I wanted us to understand how to model report first before we start the dashboard design properly. So some of the things you must ensure whenever you are creating dashboard, particularly analytics dashboard, whether you are using Excel or you are using any other analysis tool, you must ensure that the dashboard is user friendly. The color you use, the structure of your report matters. So I was talking about using CAD. So CAD is the first set of reports I would like to model. So what are CADs? What are pivot cards? Pivot cards are used to model single metric value. For example, if we want to analyze the total, the sum of all the values under basic salary, that is going to give us one value, single line value. So here you are not aggregating, you are not comparing, you just getting the total of everything. So that is the first set of analysis, and those ones are meant to be at the top. So this is going to be our dashboard. So I will name it dashboard, dashboard. I'll name this dashboard. So I would like the dashboard sheet to come after the data so I can just, switch the position. Now go back to my data set and then go to the insert, go to the insert and then select this same pivot table. Now project it in the new sheet. Now remember that, so since we have a dashboard sheet created, we are not supposed to ask for a new sheet. So let me take us back so that you understand how you can achieve that. Now we have a dashboard we have created. So all we need to do is to instruct it to come to this particular dashboard. And how do we do that? We go back to the insert and then click here, then choose the existing sheet. And then when it's time to pick the location, you will now switch to your dashboard and pick. So this is the first question. This is where it's going to be. And then I click OK. So now the only difference between the analysis I performed the other time and this one is that I'm going to add only the total, only the basic salary header in the value section. So I will just add it here. So that will give me what? Card analysis. One line uh, value analysis. So that is for that. Now, I also want to answer the summation of the company wants to know uh, the total amount probably they will spend on the medical allowance and wardrobe allowance. So I can just pick some of them just to get a single metric value as my card. So I'll go back again to my pivot table. So remember that you are still selecting the entire table. Then go to insert, then pick this again, specify existing worksheet, and then go back to the dashboard and pick where. So I'm leaving one column just to separate the first report and the next report. And I'm also maintaining the same alignment. So I'll project this one here. And then remember the question is, what is the total sum of wardrobe allowance? So I'm just going to add the wardrobe allowance only to my value word panel. So I get that word sorted out. So that is the second one. So I just want to have like 4 cards. So I'm leaving this space just to have a design. Then go back to my data set. Then go to insert again. Then pick this and then specify existing worksheet.
Excuse me.
Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir. I can't
Yeah,
hear
go
you.
on. It was breaking. I just want to see. There's something when I take existing and go to dashboard, it gives me something that
Okay,
it's not
like
the right one.
okay, you have an error there. Is that what you are saying?
It says is you are taking the wrong.
Okay, just keep watching. Maybe you get the logic. Maybe I'm missing a step. Just keep watching. So I'll click here also. Remember, I'm going back to the dashboard. So I'm leaving this space. So I'll tap here and project it here. Now, the one I'm asking here is the sum of transportation allowance, or let me even go for sum of net salary. So I'll drag only that particular one to my value section. So like I said, I'm targeting 4 cards to form the top layer of my dashboard. So I'll go again to get another one. This time around, I'm analyzing. Click here, go to the dashboard, specify where you want it to be projected here. Click OK. This time around, I want to analyze the sum of medical allowance. I don't think I've analyzed that. Sum of medical allowance. Or I want to analyze the annual 80% loan. So I'll drag only that one, put it in the value section. So I have all my card analyzed. Now, I said something the other time that whenever you are creating a dashboard, always make sure that you pay attention
Excuse
to,
me.
okay, sir.
Yeah. In creating the card, is it automatic that it will pick the total one will pick an item?
Yes,
Because
yes, yes, yes.
okay,
It's automatic. It's automatic. In as much you are not adding any field to the column and the row. Once you add
okay,
that number field to the value, it knows that it's to add up all the values in that column. So that is what is happening
okay,
here. So like I was saying, that whenever you are designing an interactive dashboard, you have to pay attention to the design. The design, your dashboard should be interactive. That is what the way you arrange this. You can see the unique way of arranging this card now. Now I want to format them so that you also learn how to format your pivot report. Is also very important. So the whole of this area, I want to format it. So once I click, and then I'll go to this particular fish shape for inside color. Maybe I just want to give you this color. Then the text color, let me choose something like white. So you just have to combine the color. I can bold it. And then I want to add some border line to that section. So I'll come here and select maybe all border. Okay, so I formatted that. Now that same format that I've given to this one, I want to replicate it for this section, for this section, for this section, without me taking them one after the other. So I'll select that particular area that I've already uh, formatted. I'll highlight it, then come to your home tab. You will see this particular function, which is called Format Painter. So you click on it, then select the area you want to paste that same format, and then go back to the Format Painter, highlight the next card, go back to the Format Painter, then highlight the next card. So all you need to do is to make sure that you format the first one very well, because you will just copy the format. So I didn't get it very well. So let me take it again to add it to this. Perfect. So now this is the design of my card. Now I also want to answer some aggregate, some comparison questions. That is, this is the total of basic salary. So we want to give the breakdown of the percentage of each of the departments basic salary in this particular total that you have presented with your card. So to answer that question, I go back to the data and then go back to the insert, then select pivot table. And then I will also choose here because I don't want it to give me a different worksheet. So click here, then go to your dashboard. Where do you want to output it? So I would like it to come here. So I'm leaving this space between the card and the comparison or the categorical analysis. Then click OK. Now here, I'm not going to pick just one. Here, I'm not just going to pick one. I'm comparing the sum of basic salary to the department. That's that question that we answered the other time. So I will add, like I've explained before, I will add the department because I want the value to be listed vertically, and then add the same basic salary. If I'm not past it, add the same basic salary to the value section, and that will give it. Now, if you check this value here now, you can see that what is equals to this. So which means that you have given the breakdown. So I will also determine the appearance of this. Make sure that the color you are using here align with the colors you have used before. Sometimes when you are designing your dashboard, it is not professional. You use too many colors. You can use just one color, combine it with white and black, which are default color, and you have a very super friendly dashboard. So now I want to highlight the whole of this and then go to Home tab and then click here. I think I want to maintain the same structure, and then I want to also give it this color. Then the only thing I want to do is that I want to make sure that the lines are there. So which means that there's no point, since it's the same thing I want. I could just use my format painter and highlight the whole of this. Then I have all the lines inserted. So that is this particular report. Now, it's not good for you to have just tabular model, because if we want to know the highest performing or the department with the highest basic salary, it's going to be difficult for us because we have to start comparing this value with this value. We have to compare this with this. So in that case, we use another visualization model, which is graph. So graph will enable us to easily identify the trend, the pattern, and the correlation. So how do we now project pivot chart? Pivot chart is different from the normal chart that you know. So pivot charts are usually used just for visualizing pivot table value. So you must have a pivot table value like this before you bring in what pivot chart. So how do we apply the pivot chart? You click on any of the reports. This is the report I want to create it graphical word copy. So I'll select within that report, and then you will see pivot table analysis. Once you expand it, you will now see pivot charts. So once I click on this pivot chart, it's going to show me different chart tools. So depending now where you have so many values you are comparing, I think the best one is to use something like column graph, not pie chart. So I can easily see the trend. So I can choose to use this. Let me use this. So you click on it and then you select OK. So we have plotted that graph. Now the arrangement of this also matter. So I'll make sure that I arrange it properly. Now, the moment you plot your graph, you need to detail the graph. Your graph needs to be well interpreted, need to enhance interpretation, which means that we need to make it look more readable. And to do that, what we are going to do is to select the graph, and then you come to your design. Remember that we have, there are times you see another design, but you must know the design that is meant for formatting the graph or detailing the graph. Okay, so if I step out from the graph now, just put your eyes here, you see that we are no longer seeing that particular design. So you must be on the graph, and then before you can access the design. So from this design, I want to switch. You see what happened? Immediately I switch. I'm now having the bars with different colors. But your report has also what switched from, look at what happened here. Initially, we added this department to what? To the row. But as you switch here, it also switched from row to column. So if you want it to be like that, fine. If you don't want, then you have to what? Bring it back to maintain this one. Then there are some layouts you can take advantage of here if they are active based on the graph selected. Now we have some chart elements you need to understand how to use them. So for example, we have labels. So if I click on this, you can see that that will allow the values to be written on the bars. That is if that is the best way you want to interpret the graph. So there are different ones here that you can use. So if you don't want the graph to be crowded, you can leave it like this. And then because what you are looking for is not, because you have a table that is, displaying the value. So all you need, you just for you to know which one is doing better. So from here, I know that operation has the highest what? Sum of basic salary, followed by marketing. And then the least among them is technology. So you need to write down all these observations in your executive report that you're going to present to the stakeholders. So let me see. I thought this particular graph will be able to explore more option of it. So let's see what we can do under quick layout. So under quick layout, we can change the layout. Maybe I may go with this one, and then we are not permitted to edit, but there's a graph you will use, you'll be able to change some color. But if you are not permitted and you still want to format it, you can actually go ahead. How do? You click here, you go to format. So from format, the entire graph background is what I want to change each color. So that is what I will have achieved if those templates were active. But since they are not active, I have to fall back to manual, try to make the graph look like other color that I've used so far. So I can select the bars and also come to my color. Maybe for any reason you want to align the color with some of the colors you have used. So I can leave it the way it was or something like this. So I just want a unique formatting for the dashboard. So you can reduce it if you feel the space is taking is too much. So now I want to show us how you can answer another question. Now, this question has to do with counting.
Hello,
So I
sir.
think, okay, go ahead, sir.
I see this department and the drop down. It didn't mention anything. Is there any use?
Yeah. Are you talking about this particular
No,
thing?
in the graph,
Yeah,
on the
yes,
graph, on the graph.
yes, yes. This is filter. You can use it to filter. So the graph has filter. That is, you can deselect everything and say, okay, on the graph, you just want to see this variable. So
Okay,
right now, the graph is only analyzing that. That is
okay.
filter. Once you see this icon, it means filter. So let me display all the value. So, okay, so I wanted to answer one of the questions we cited when we started, which is analyze the total number of employee per department. So what we analyze here is the sum of basic salary per department. Now we are asked to know, the company wants to know how many employees are in this department, how many employees generated this total, how many employees also generated this total. So that is what the company wants to know. So how do we answer that question? Now, to answer that question, you don't need to start afresh. You see this particular report that you have created, you will just copy it, just highlight it, Control C, and then paste it where you want it. Let's say I want it here. I will just paste. So after pasting it, the next thing you are going to do is to switch the function. The function you are currently using here is sum. So the function I need to get that question answer is count. So how do I switch the question to the function rather? To switch the function, just right click on any of these values on that particular pivot report. Right click on it, and then you will see summarize value by. You can see that by default, pivot table has already programmed it with sum. So I will just switch to count. So you can see that what I've changed the output. So now what you are presenting is the total employees count per department. So if you like, you can represent it with another graph, but I don't want because I don't want it to go beyond our view port. So let everything be within the interface we are seeing right now. So that is how to switch the pivot analysis function from sum. Now, there's another question here. I think I should answer that question also, so that we can learn how to switch to another function. I think that question is a total average of basic salary per status. So this one I'm going to copy also. I'm going to copy. So, but now I think let's check whether the description still tally with what we have here. Okay, count of basic salary. Okay, so here, let me see if it's possible. Since it's not permitting us based on the structure, just leave it. So let me just answer that question. It says total average of basic salary per status. So here we are working with different variables. So we are not going to maintain, we are going to switch this, and then we will also switch the function. So two things we are going to do. So let me copy also this. Let me copy also this. Control C. So let's say I am putting the result here. Control V. Now the question is total average of basic salary per status. So we are going to drop department and replace it with what? Status. So how do we do that? If you come here, you will know that what department is checked. Just remove it and then just check status. So you have replaced that one. Now the second part is that we are to use average function, not sum. So the same thing I did the other time. So I will now come here, right click, and then go to summarize value and switch to what? Average. So you have answered that question. I hope we are following. You're trying to show us different logic on how, instead of you going back to the data set, because if I do not understand this logic, what I would have done is to go back to the data set and start projecting the report here afresh. Any question? I hope that is clear.
You see, I'm just wondering with my thoughts, is it possible to use the column and the row at the same time?
Row and the column at the same time. Okay, what if I may get your question right? Let me click here. You're talking about here. Here, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I'm coming.
data, yeah.
Yes, I'm coming to that. Yes, I'm coming to that. But I just want to know if we understand it to this level, because I'll go multi-level question now. This is just like single criteria analysis. So we can have it just like the way we have a sum ifs the other time. But do we understand it to this level first before I bring in that aspect? So we'll be closing soon. But okay. So now let's look at it. Now let's assume that the analysis we perform here. So let me just pick this one, or let me use this. The analysis we perform here is single criteria analysis. We simply calculated the total average of basic salary per what status, and we have just two status, married and what single. Now let's assume that you are asked to break this value down per gender. That is what we want to know the average of male and female under what each of these what marital status. That is, you summarize, that is, you summarize by status, and now you are further breaking it down per gender. So we can go like that. That is, we are going multi-level criteria. That's what multiple criteria now. So how do you do that? You will add that set to the same place where you added status. You see that the report structure will change. Now you can expand. Now you can collapse. So what you have here now is the total average of basic salary for marriage. Now the second part of the question says, okay, can we know the amount of male and female that make up this value? You will now expand it. You will now see the separation. For female, this is the value. For male, this is it. Now, if you add these two together, we give you what you were having there before. Then under single, I can also give the breakdown. This is the percentage of what female and the one of what male. Now I can also be asked, okay, break it down per state. You want to know, break this particular, both the male and female, break it down per state. So what you do is that you will now add state to that same place to make sure that it's coming as the last one you are adding. If it comes in between, become good. So you can see that this has further what break it down per state. So for any of these first category analysis, you can break it down per state. So you can see the breakdown: Abia total, Abuja for Abuja male total, Abuja total, Akwa Ibom male. So you can see, so you can expand it depending on how you want it. But the first report was summary of the sum of basic salary per what the status. So that is how you can make it multiple criteria analysis. Any question? Any question? So I feel that I should stop here so that we can go and practice what we have learned so far. Just get different data sets. Try as much as possible to master all the logic we have learned tonight. So that the next class, I will just round up the topic. So we still have some powerful tools to talk about for us to be able to make this dynamic, because these are not static model. These are dynamic model. So I believe I should stop here. I'll take care of that aspect in the next class to allow us to go and master this, because if you learn it at once, it might confuse you.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Excuse me. I
Okay, sir.
noticed that my presentations, the presentation of my pivot table is not exactly like yours. Like
Okay.
it doesn't, I don't know. I have followed the same way, but I don't know if it is something that has to do with
Your data,
the
right? Is it the same data we are using?
yeah, it is. I don't know
Okay,
if it's
share,
something.
share your screen there. Share your screen. Since
So
we've
let me
rounded up
just
now.
show you what I'm trying to
Share your,
say.
share your screen.
Let me know when you see my screen.
It's coming up. I've not seen it yet. Just hold on. Yeah, I can see it now. So I can see your screen and stuff. So just go ahead and explain what you were saying.
Yeah, you can see.
Okay, you have your card already, and
Um,
you have only created one categorical analysis.
I'm saying that it doesn't bring
I don't know once.
the table the way
Your voice is breaking. I think the network issue is always from your end. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not
I don't know
looking
why.
exactly like yours.
When
Like
Mr. Kayode was speaking, the
if
network was
I,
stable. I hardly hear what you are saying, though I can see your screen, but just for you to be. Mr. Ambrose, I don't know if you can still hear me.
let me stop sharing.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know why
I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
I have
I
stopped
can, I
sharing,
can,
so you
I can
can.
hear you now. Okay, so if you can just explain, since I was able to see your screen, what were you trying to say before?
I am saying that my pivot, the presentation of my pivot table,
This
it,
very one, like
it
this one
doesn't
now.
look like yours. Yeah, you can see that yours has sum of
Mm,
basic, then total underneath.
okay,
But mine, yeah,
okay,
mine just come
mm,
with sum of basic salary, no total, and all that.
okay. Did you
So I've
format
tried to
the
check
did
and
you, did you format the data as table first?
yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay. Which Excel version are you using? Because sometimes the version interpretation different. Which Excel version are you using?
When I
2019
check it, doesn't.
or
No, no, it can
mm,
be. It can be because I got this, and
there is something higher than that, right?
yeah, and it's a yearly
Subscription.
subscription from Microsoft.
Microsoft. Okay, that one should be.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
yearly subscription.
that is the. It might just be from the package you are using, but the answer is still correct. There's nothing wrong with it. The one I saw. So there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with it. It's still correct. So there's
just that
no
the
mm,
yours looks a bit, better.
explanatory.
Yeah, when you see the
Um,
sum of basic,
mm.
total, and the sum
Okay,
of
so
basic, total, then under it, total.
Hello, sir.
yeah, I can hear you, ma.
I want to share my screen. I'm having challenge in
Okay.
selecting pivots.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's see. Coming up, just hold on. Okay, so we are on your screen now. So what are you trying to do here? Can you explain to us? We can't hear you.
Can you see it
Yes,
now?
yes, we are seeing your screen, but
I
Determining
was
the
using the
location.
restroom. Sorry.
Okay. So am I to
You see,
You,
can you
you
go
have
back
to
again?
you have to click the location where it has to be in the dashboard.
Do it again. Do it again. Just go